Hey everyone, hope you guys are doing okay. All right, so in the chat tonight we talked about how to use a Google form in Schoology. I think I found a pretty okay method, but I want to go over my setup a little bit because I'm going to jump between screens, so I want to make sure you know what I'm doing. So here is my screen. This is my web browser, so here I am signed into my school account and everything else, but I've also downloaded Google Chrome to use as a student. So I'm signed into a student account, and this screen, this Google Chrome web browser, will mimic what a Chromebook looks like almost exactly. So if you are in third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, or eighth grade teacher, this will be what this experience looks like for you. If your students are using an iPad, the Google form embedding should still work, but I haven't tested it, so I don't know for sure, or I don't know the kinks to work out, but I'd be happy to try if we have an iPad around the building. So if you see this, if I'm in Chrome, that's a student browser, works just like a Chromebook. But what I'm going to do to start my Google form is I am going to go to drive.google.com, and you can log in with your school account. So here's my school account. And this is your Google Drive. So this is where all of your Google documents are saved and everything. I need to clearly clean mine up a little bit, but for now, you can just click on New, and to make a form, you go down here to Google Forms, and I usually find that it's best to make it from a template so that you don't have to fiddle with it. And if you're using it as an exit ticket, they have a pre-made exit ticket already. Okay, so let's go ahead and open that one. And there it is. All right, so it's set up like this. I mean, you can customize it to the extent that you want to, but for now it looks like this. So let's just say I'm going to keep name. I don't want their email because that seems like work, so we can delete that. I don't like this question, what's one important thing you learned in class today? So I might just say, in one complete sentence, define noun. There you go. And so they can submit that as a paragraph. And then let's say here that I want you to, in the list below, identify the noun. And then you can change the question type. So let's say I want to do multiple choice. And here you go. And let's say that I do run and something like talk and an option and phone. There you go. And so then the kids can do that. And you can see down here, you can mark it as required. So let's say I mark this as required. I can get rid of other there if you want to and add other, but I don't want other. So if I mark this as required, then they have to do it before they leave. So, you know, if you want to mark them all as required, whatever. And let's say I just want those two questions. We talked about nouns in class today, so that's what I want. So here's my form. They'll tell me their name so I can track it to their name. They'll give me a noun in a sentence, or define a noun in a sentence, and pick the noun out of the list. Okay, so then up here you have all of your options. You can preview it to see what it would look like as a student. There you go. Oh no, go away. You can go into your settings, and the settings are very, very thorough, but I think the way to make it easiest would be to not collect email addresses, because then if your kids aren't logged in, it won't make them log in or enter an email address. I also am going to remove this restrict to users in IPS. Again, if your kids aren't logged into the Google account and you're just wanting them to quickly do a form, this will prevent them from having to log in theory. Okay, so there you go. And then in presentation, tell you can have a progress bar, shuffle the questions. So if you were doing this as a quiz, you could have a progress bar, say it had 20 questions that showed them. And if you didn't want students to have the same experience, you wanted it jump questions, you could shuffle that. And then if you are using it as a quiz, it has a ton of options. Like you can link it or lock it to Chromebook. So if they're using logged into their IPS account, they're using a Chromebook, and you turn on locked mode, it will put the form in the full screen, and they're not able to leave that on that Chromebook until they submit the form. Okay, so that's kind of cool, but we're not doing this as a quiz. So that seems kind of intense. So let's make sure, again, just a quick review, I'm not collecting email addresses, and I am not restricting to users in IPS. All right, I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to click this send button. and I'm going to come over here to these little brackets. These little brackets mean to embed something into a web page. It actually uses the like HTML coding for the website. So jump to the brackets, click copy. You'll get this little copied to clipboard down here. I'm going to exit that. And I'm just going to go to Schoology real quick. So here I am logging into Schoology. And in Schoology, I'm going to go to the course that I want to post this in. So here it is. I want to post it right here in my homeroom class. I'm going to go to materials. I'm going to click add materials, and I am going to click to add a page. My page is going to be Google Form exit ticket. And then I'm going to come down here to the text box, but instead of just putting what I copied here, you're going to come right over here and click that little bottom dot that says switch to HTML. And now what you're doing is actually putting in a code. So then you just paste what you copied, and it's going to look like this. This is HTML code. This is what websites are made of. If you've never seen this, it's kind of crazy. You'll click create, and then it'll make your page. And all you have to do is click on that page, and there's your form, right? So that's what it looks like for you. But for a student, let's see what that looks like. So here is Jamie Anderson, logged in as Jamie Anderson. She's in my homeroom class, so I'll have her log into my homeroom, and there's my exit ticket right there. So we'll go ahead and click on it and look at that. It looks like that for her. So she's Jamie Anderson. Her answer to define a noun, oh, I'm sorry, not a nun. A noun is a person, place, or thing. And then in the list below, we're going to identify the noun. I'm going to get it wrong, so you can see I didn't select a right answer, but it'll at least show you kind of what that looks like. Click submit. And then she's done. That's what it says. Thanks for filling out the exit ticket. See you next time. And you can change that message, by the way. So if you want the message to say something like, you know, have a great class, we'll see you tomorrow, or now you have your small group time and we meet back again at, you know, 2 o'clock or whatever, that can say whatever you want it to say. Okay. So then she's submitted it. You as a teacher can go to your form that you made in your Google Doc or Google Drive. So if you still have it open, it's right here, and it'll save directly to your drive, drive.google.com. But here's your form, and you can see here that you've got one response. So you're going to click on that response, and there's Jamie, and it's going to break down how many people have selected things. So if you have 20 kids and 10 of them answer run here, then it's going to say 50% answered run, and you're going to know right away, uh-oh, they're not getting it right. You know, like I need to change what I'm doing or reinforce that or whatever. Okay. You also can see a by question breakdown. So if you click on question, it'll show you the first question, and it'll show it by their name. So you can see who submitted it. You can see all of their answers unattached to their names, and you can see what their responses were. And then you can see each individual person's papers. So this is the data from your exit ticket. This is essentially cutting your quiz into each individual question, and this is seeing the turned in quiz. Okay? And if you want it to grade it for you, you can do that too. So if we come into those settings, let's see here. Nope, that's not it. Oh, shoot, he says, well, be that as it may, you can have it graded. So you can add a correct answer. You can duplicate, you can make it required. I don't remember where the grading is, but I know it's possible. So if you do want it graded, let me know and I'll figure out how to do that. But if you are doing a quick exit ticket quiz through a Google form instead of through a Schoology quiz, it can grade them for you so that when they submit it, you can see how they scored, which I know because I use for fantasy football every year. So there you go. Okay, so tons of options in here, but that's how you go through and embed it directly into your Schoology course so that your students can just see it and do it. That's Google Forms. Hopefully that helps. Let me know if you need anything else. Stop the recording.